Hello, everybody, and welcome to the True Love Talk channel. Here we want to learn about human sexuality and love based on the teachings that Pope John Paul II left in the Theology of the Body. I am Elisa, and today we're going to talk about conjugal chastity. So, let's begin. So, when we talk about conjugal chastity, we're going to talk about the chastity of this relationship, of the spousal relationship, the relationship that happens amongst married people, right? A husband and a wife. But here's the thing, not everybody has the vocation to be married, not in this earth, and however, we all have the vocation for marriage. How can this happen? For example, people who don't have the vocation to create a family and have a human spouse are priests and nuns and religious people, basically monks and so on. Also, there are some people that are just single because they don't are not called for a marriage, or people whose careers are so demanding that they don't have time for a family, right? Like a surgeon that spends 16 hours a day, 6 days a week in a hospital. This person is not going to have enough time to create a family and to fulfill their actual vocation, which is that of being a doctor. They should not have a family. So, how can they have the vocation for marriage and still not be married? The thing is, they may not marry here in this earth. Hmm? Remember that on Christ's second coming, when Jesus Christ comes again at the end of time, he's going to renew earth and he's going to marry his bride, which is the church, right? And we, all of us, are the church. So he's going to marry all of us, each and every one of us. This is what we are called the wedding of the Lamb. Yes, the weddings of the Lamb. And basically, we are all going to have that spousal bond with Christ, right? So we are all called to that, and that is why we all have the vocation for a spousal relationship. Only some people have the vocation for to have a human spouse and Christ, and some others only have the vocation for Christ as a spouse. What happens, for example, when it's a religious vocation, such as priesthood or being a monk or a nun? What happens with these people is that they are living those weddings with Christ here on this earth in this life. It's like if they had skipped a grade in school. They had been so so forward that they actually get to get there first. That's it. They leave that wedding and that vocation from their lives here on earth. But we're all called for that kind of spousal relationship. But on this video, we're going to focus on the conjugal relationship amongst a human man and a human woman, right? Of, yes, a normal human marriage. And basically, as you know, as you remember, chastity is about being sacraments of God, right? What kind of or what part of God are we symbolizing in the spousal union? And here it is the part of the Holy Trinity, because the Holy Trinity is one true God in three different people, right? And the best way of understanding this is a thinking of a triangle. Okay, when we have a triangle, we have three different lines, right? And because we have three lines, we have one triangle. Not for every line we have a triangle, but because there are three, we have only one triangle. But these lines cannot be any just three lines. They have to be three parallel lines are not going to make a triangle. These lines to make a triangle have to be together. They have to have a relationship between each other, amongst each other, I'm sorry. And yes, this is how it happens with God. the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are in a permanent communion amongst each other, and that is what creates that one true God that we believe in, right? This is what the spouses are called to do. They have to do a communion of people that makes them one flesh, even though they are two people. And in these two people don't lose their personality, who they are, but they do become just one flesh, just one person. And that is why it is so, that is why infidelity is so violent. Not only are we telling the other person, hey, you're not good enough for me, right? I need more than you. You're not that lovable, right? I can love other people because honestly you're not enough. I am not only also I will not let you free, so you can go and find somebody who actually loves you and who actually thinks that you're enough. You'll have to stay here with me. But they are also sharing one's flesh with somebody else. The idea of a marriage is that we give everything and we put everything in common, right? Our finances, our time, the TV shows we're going to watch at night, everything, the children. But we also share our bodies. And when a spouse shares a body with somebody other than his wife or her husband, they're basically sharing that flesh that is supposed to be of the spouse with a third person without even asking the spouse if they want that, right? So it's very violent, and it makes the spouse, the one who was cheated on, not actually be able to say this is my flesh, because it's not actually my flesh. I don't know how many fleshes there are, if that is the plural. I don't know the plural, but whatever. But the person cannot know, cannot take their spouse's body as their own, right? They have somebody else is there sharing with them, even though they don't get everything, right? And they don't give everything to the other person. So in fidelity, okay, fidelity, yes, faithfulness, right, is absolutely important in this kind of chastity, right? For conjugal chastity, faithfulness is a fundamental part. But the sexual relationship, the coitus, yeah, genitality has to be there, because that is the way in which one gives one's body to the other, to the spouse, right? So it has to happen. That is why a marriage that hasn't been consummated is not actually a marriage. It hasn't happened yet, right? But the coitus here cannot be just any kind of coitus or whatever we want. It is true that each person lives their body differently, and the idea is that I learn the language of the body of my spouse learns the language of my body, and we create a language in common. But even though we are free on that language, it cannot include things such as third people in it. So people cannot be part of swingers clubs. They cannot be part of threesomes or orgies, right? Spouses cannot participate. Even if the other spouse is there as well, they cannot participate in this kind of sexual acts. They have to ensure a minimum of privacy, right? There cannot be third people getting off on the love, right? And but it also has to be taking care of the other person. And that means checking if my spouse is okay, because if he's not feeling well, if he's feeling sad, or anything happens to him, I have to say, no, it's not going to happen right now, right? So sometimes one has to not have sex. Some other times one needs to have sex. So of course, if one of the spouses doesn't want to have sex, they have the right to say, I don't want to. But if it's been too long, they actually have to make the effort of, okay, seduce me and I will do my best to be seduced, right? To allow you to seduce me and to be together, because it makes part of it. Hmm? And it also means that it cannot include things like bonding and sadomasochism, which has become like a fashion lately, a trend, especially since 50 Shades of Grey, right? That became like a trend, right? Do whatever you want, because as long as it's consensual and as long as there is a safe word, then everything is okay. Actually, no. The other person cannot feel pain. The other person cannot be hurt. Even if the other person consents, this cannot happen because we have to take care of our spouse. So it cannot include this kind of sexual relationships. Oh my God. Okay. It, it cannot include this kind of relationships. Okay. That's it. Basically, that's the core of conjugal chastity. It includes coitus, and it has to be a coitus in which you give everything, right? Your body, your soul, your spirit, absolutely everything to your spouse. Okay, so on the next video, we're going to analyze this relationship, but before marriage, the romantic relationship when one is dating, when there's not a wedding yet, but we're getting there. We're going to analyze chastity in this kind of relationship. Okay, so I'm very glad that you chose to stay until the end of the video. If you have any question or any comment, please write it in the comment section below. I will try to answer it as soon as possible. And that would be it. Have a nice day and lots of blessings for everybody. Bye.